After turning off the power, remove the two screws holding your system's faceplate on to access the inside of your control box. Then remove all the connections to your system, such as the power cord for your cell, as well as the flow switch. The screws securing the white and black power wires must first be loosened before disconnecting. The display board is mounted to the PCB main board on 4 posts. To remove this, you must pinch the tip of each post with needle nose pliers to be able to remove the display board. You will then need to disconnect all of the control wires for your system. All of these wires are color-coded and labeled for each. When disconnecting these wires, using some needle nose pliers really does help the process. So when you're reinstalling the new aftermarket PCB mainboard, you're going to notice that these yellow and orange wires are going to be connected in a totally different spot, although each wire will still be color coded and labeled for each connection, so there should not be any confusion. With everything disconnected, you can then remove the 2 screws securing your board in place. Using a socket wrench or a screwdriver is just personal preference. I would suggest using whatever is easiest for you. You are now all set to install your new PCB aftermarket mainboard. In my opinion, it is significantly easier to connect the display board to the main board prior to installing the main board and securing it into your control box, as lining up the pins in the center is significantly easier if you can do this at an angle. Then you can go ahead and re-secure the board to your control box. I would suggest not fully tightening these at first until after you reconnect the white and black power wires, as it leaves a little give in the board and it's just easier to get your hands in there and underneath the screws if necessary. As you can see here, as I'm reconnecting the 2 power wires, the little bit of give the board has makes this significantly easier. After which, you can go ahead and make sure you're fully tightened and secured. Once the board is fully secured, you can go ahead and reconnect each control wire for your system using the color-coded labeling system. Each connection will be labeled with the specific wire's color. As I had mentioned before, the orange and yellow wire will be in a completely different location. Once you have each reconnected, you are ready to reinstall the flow switch plug and the cell cord plug. I find it a little easier to get it in there before I reinstall the faceplate, but it's just personal preference. Finally, go ahead and slide the faceplate into the grooves and re-secure, and you're all set.